All right, let's talk about something that's super important for all of us, protecting yourself online. Today, we're going to build your personal toolkit for digital self-defense. And in the next few minutes, I'll walk you through some really simple but totally essential steps to keep your online life safe and sound. Whoa, I know, that's a pretty intense way to kick things off, right? But it's so true. We're not talking about some abstract, far-off problem here. We're talking about the very real risk of someone reading your private messages, emptying your bank account, or even stealing your identity. And it can all happen from just one wrong click. So let's get into the everyday cyber threat. It's easy to think, oh, cybersecurity, that's for big companies and governments, right? But the reality? The biggest targets are actually people just like you and me. The threat has become incredibly personal. Okay, so what's with this number, 32%? Well, get this. That is the percentage of all identity theft claims filed by people between 18 and 29 years old. That is the single largest group. So if you're a student, a young professional, basically anyone spending a ton of time online, you are right in the crosshairs. And you know what the FBI says is the most common weapon used against us? It's not some crazy, complex hack you'd see in a movie. Nope. It's a surprisingly simple trick called phishing, and it is the #1 way criminals get in. So, if we want to defend ourselves, we've got to understand how the attack works first. Okay, so let's dive into the anatomy of an attack. How does a phishing scam actually work? If we break it down, we can learn to spot those little telltale signs and completely avoid the trap. The key word here, the most important word, is deceive. See, phishing isn't really about breaking down digital walls with fancy code. It's about tricking you into opening the door for them. It's a total psychological game, one that plays on our trust and our emotions. And this right here, this is exactly how they do it. They create this sense of pure panic, an urgent warning, a scary threat that your account's about to be closed, or maybe a deal that just seems way too good to be true. The goal is to get you to react emotionally, to click before you even have a second to think logically. Okay, now this is where it gets really sneaky, and you can see the core trick right here. The link looks totally legit, right? But it's just a mask. The actual place it's sending you, which, by the way, you can usually see just by hovering your mouse over the link, is somewhere completely different. It's a fake site built for one reason, to steal your login info. So rule #1, always check where a link is actually going. All right, so we've seen the problem. It's common, it's definitely sneaky, but, and this is the important part, it is not unbeatable. So now let's talk solutions. Let's get into your simple, actionable toolkit for digital self-defense. We're going to focus on 3 main things, 3 core pillars. And these aren't complicated or expensive, I promise. They're just good habits. First, fortifying your passwords. Second, keeping your software updated. And third, and maybe most importantly, just staying aware and vigilant. I mean, this analogy is just perfect, isn't it? Think about it. If a thief steals that one key, they're not just getting into your house. They're in your car, they're in your office, they're in everything. And it's the exact same thing in the digital world. One stolen password could be the key to your email, your bank, your social media, the whole shebang. So what actually makes a password strong? Well, you can see the recipe right here. It's all about a mix of length and complexity. We're talking uppercase letters, lowercase letters, numbers, and symbols. And get this, every time you add a character from a different category, you increase the time it would take a hacker to crack it, exponentially. We're talking the difference between seconds and literally centuries. Okay, we've all done this, right? That little update notification pops up, and we immediately hit Remind Me Later. But here's the thing, those updates aren't just about adding new emojis or features. They almost always contain critical security patches. They fix holes that developers have found, and an unpatched system is like leaving your front door wide open for attackers. And if you need proof, just look at this chart. A staggering 38% of cyber attacks succeed by taking advantage of known problems in outdated software. Think about that for a second. That means more than a third of all attacks could be stopped just by clicking Update Now. It's seriously one of the easiest and most effective defensive moves you can possibly make. Okay, so we've covered the basics, which are super important. But now I want to talk about the single most powerful tool you have in your arsenal. Seriously, think of this as your security superpower. It's called Multi-Factor Authentication, or MFA. I know, it sounds really technical, but the idea behind it is incredibly simple. It's just about proving you are who you say you are in more than one way. It combines at least two of these three things: something you know, like your password, something you have, like your phone, and something you are, like your fingerprint. And the result? Well, just look at this number from Microsoft. It's incredible: 99.9%. That is the percentage of account compromise attacks that are blocked just by turning on MFA. Let that sink in for a moment. 99.9%. It works because even if a hacker manages to steal your password, the something you know, they still can't get in because they don't have your phone or your fingerprint, the something you have. It basically makes a stolen password almost useless. And I guarantee you're already familiar with this stuff. It's that 6-digit code that gets texted to your phone, or that push notification you tap to approve a login, or even the face scan you use to unlock an app on your phone. See? It's simple, it's fast, and it is so, so effective. So as we start to wrap up, let's talk about becoming cyber aware. Ultimately, all these tools are only really effective when they become habits. This isn't about being paranoid, not at all. It's about being prepared. It's about taking small, consistent steps to gain a sense of control and, honestly, peace of mind in your digital life. So let's just quickly recap the 4 key takeaways: your personal defense shield. Number 1, use strong, unique passwords for every single account. And hey, a password manager makes this super easy. 2, always install those software updates right away. 3, turn on multi-factor authentication everywhere you possibly can. And finally, number 4, just cultivate a little healthy skepticism. Pause for a second before you click. You know, when you think about it, your online life contains so much. Your conversations with friends, your memories, your finances, your entire identity. It's immensely valuable. So I'll leave you with one final question to think about. Are you really protecting it?